to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Show here. Now then, whenever we last left off, Deku, he had just been through a grand adventure. And there was a bit of a crossover. So, let us start exactly where we left off. Everyone, well, Deku and Toru, they had just fallen asleep on the couch. As Deku somewhat wakes up. He's a bit confused, but he would wake up to find that Kaminari, Kirishima, and Sero are all trying to draw on his face. To which he would just tell them that if they keep trying to do so, he will kill all of them. To which they would ignore him, trying to just press on until eventually Toru would wake up. She would turn to see that they drew on Deku's face as she somewhat begins to laugh. Deku getting up and igniting his hands with fire, saying that he's generous. 5 seconds. Well, that's not generous. 4. Oh shit. As they would all begin to run very, very fast. Now then, after that happens, Toru would just say that it's gonna be fine, it's gonna be okay. As she's basically holding Deku back. Deku, he would just shake it off for a second and walk to the bathroom. As he would wash his face and look into the mirror. He remembers everything he's gone through in hell. And well, it somewhat drove him insane. If he was, well, not insane already. So, as he asked the writer exactly what are they going to do now. They made that third deal, and what did it bring? Well, I think you may have tricked them out of it, kid. The only plot hole in that contract was you had to kill him. You took that plot hole away. He picked an opponent so fierce that he thought you would just go in and kill willy-nilly. But your opponents gave up, which Mephisto didn't expect. The Doomslayer, their reputation is actually very admirable. Taking down those beasts at any time in any section they can. It's quite impressive, really. So, the only thing that stopped the Doomslayer was yourself. If you were any other opponent, you two would probably have gotten into a fight, spanning upon eons. So, I suggest you just calm down. And try and live out the next few days as if that time, yes, it happened, but you can't let it affect you. Not now, kid. Alright, writer. As Deku would leave. Now, the next couple of days, he would spend it like as if it were normal. Toru's parents coming and actually finding that she's alive, and being overjoyed at it, the news. Crying and, well, overreacting quite a bit. Now, what I mean by overreacting is they almost pulled Toru out of UA. And almost asked Deku if he would like to go with them, since he is family. To which Deku, he would have calmed them down and explained everything, at least what he can without sounding crazy, and to say that it was a bit tricky. Basically leaving out whatever supernatural aspects he can. Just saying that he had to do something and it kind of worked. Someone being able to use their quirk to help Toru. basically someone who owed the Gosher a favor, since it was a good person, as he would say. Yes, he's lying to them, but it's better than him sounding like a lunatic, or them knowing that the deal with the devil brought their daughter back. Not something you kind of want to make public. Now then, the days would pass, and let us cut over to the final exams, where the team will be Toru and Deku versus All Might, who is in his prime, you can say. Now then, this fight would be one to see, since everyone is just thinking, Deku and Toru versus All Might, exactly how will this go? This is a fight they never thought they would ever see. Now then, as soon as the fight begins, Deku and Toru, they would watch as All Might would throw a punch. However, All Might is still trying to get used to his new strength, having it basically come back to him. Now, as soon as he throws the punch, he actually watches as that may have been his 70%, but that is basically 60 times stronger. Because I researched it before, All Might said that in his prime he could have defeated the Nomu in 5 punches. So that was about 60 times stronger than himself in canon, which is O fucking P. Now then, I took the people who I saw do this, they took that literally. I don't remember their name right now, but I think it was All Might can travel at Mach 49. He can punch with the force of like, I think it was around a billion, or it was a billion, but maybe in the millions. Like the high millions, low billions. But yeah, it was very OP. Now, Deku, he would just watch as All Might begins to destroy 3 city blocks. And basically goes very, very over the top with this. Him actually being in shock about the power he just released, as Deku would basically step in front of Toru and hold his hand outwards, like a blade, as his hand does not buckle whenever it gets hit with a shockwave. People watching as Deku basically just cut through All Might's shockwave, and All Might would have rushed in. The waves are basically nothing to him right now, so it's not even hindering his abilities. He would go to throw a punch as Deku would counter with his own hands, All Might being in shock by this. Now then, Toru, she would begin by immediately running up and trying to counter with her own punch, since All Might was looking at Deku. Now, she would sock All Might in the gut, and she would continue to throw a flurry of punches, as All Might, he would have just brought his leg up, hitting and actually making Toru hurt her own arm, as she would get sent flying. Deku, he would see that, and he would immediately begin by trying to throw more punches with All Might, as All Might's trying to dodge and basically counter some of the punches Deku throws, as he's trying to be a bit more tactical. He's thinking that he got a second chance, so he really should not waste it. What should he do now? As he just begins to think, he would try to... He would throw another punch at Deku and actually get him somewhat off of his feet, as Deku just brought his hands up to block it. Now then, Deku, he would just be blocking as All Might would begin to throw more and more punches. Deku would ask Ryder exactly how far can they go. Well, I'd say pretty far. Let loose, kid. That's all I needed to hear. As All Might's punch would be caught this time. All Might's hand is shaking as he tries just realizing what Deku did. Toru would start charging in as Deku, he would throw a punch as hard as possible, sending All Might flying, as he begins to fly through an entire city block. Toru, seeing this, would watch as the rider begins to crack its knuckles and get ready with a chain, as they would summon the bike. As soon as that happens, Deku would hop on the bike as Toru watches Deku drive away, and All Might would get back up. As soon as he got back up, he would get into a running position and immediately charge forward. As whenever he does so, he becomes a blur. People watching as Deku and All Might, they are fighting at high speeds, until they hear one sound, a very loud clash, as they would see Deku flying through the air, or at least something red, as that is Deku. And another thing which is, well, metallic looking or shiny, gets, well, kicked away. All Might kicked away the motorcycle so that Deku wouldn't have a mode of transportation. So this will be a lot more challenging on him. Toru, she would charge herself up as she gets up to around 50 to 55. Ever since she's come back, well, things have been a bit trickier. She's found that her body might be a little bit stronger, but it's still a bit tricky to regulate this. So she's pushing her limits too far. But she kinda needs to, as she would get into her own running position and charge forward. As whenever she does get over to All Might, he was a bit too distracted. She would have come charging in as she would have kicked him in the side, and immediately just used Black Whip to wrap it around his arm, as she tries to actually pull his arm backwards and restrain it. As she's using Black Whip to wrap around his other arm, and he is just basically held with his hands up. All Might would just say that that's not going to work, as he would start swinging that arm around and Toru would not let go. All Might actually having to smash it into a building, and she's still not letting go. She's being a bit tricky. Deku would have gotten up from the 20th story of this building and dropped down. All Might turning to see Deku is getting serious, as he would charge forward and immediately go for a sock to the gut. This punch was hard enough to break a few of All Might's ribs. And well, that is not going to be easy. Now, All Might, he would immediately cough up a lot of blood, as Deku, he would throw another hook, throwing a left one, as All Might gets sent flying through even more buildings. People are watching in shock, as they didn't think Deku could be this powerful, and they've never seen All Might go to these limits before. Is he always holding back? Now, before that can even happen, well, before that's said, All Might would have gotten up off the ground, somewhat clutching his side because a few of his ribs are broken. But it should be okay. He can just heal after. Now, he would look up to see that Deku, he is running in. All Might being surprised exactly at how physically fast he is. He doesn't even need that bike. Now, Deku, he would have thrown chains forward as All Might, he would immediately just be restrained. The rider coming in and actually punching All Might across the face, as All Might is trying to break free. Finding that he cannot move. Now, after that happens, Deku, he would be panting and actually exhausted, as he would just sit down on the ground and just start breathing very heavily. Toru would have come over and say that that's it. Did we get him? Well, we didn't beat him, but we at least got him. As they would see All Might struggling to try and break these chains. But he is not succeeding at all, in the slightest. Now, Afterwards, All Might he would have given up, as these two are walking towards the exit. As soon as they are declared the winners, Deku would have called off the chains. Now, everyone would just be talking about how that's crazy, that can't be possible, and exactly how is this even a thing? Now, Deku, he would just explain that he's always been able to somewhat do this. But whenever he was training, he kind of took the time to work on this in secret. It's just that the durability of these things is insanely high. And he just found out exactly how high recently. To which they would all just be somewhat cheering and, well, a bit in fear. If those things are strong enough to hold on to All Might, they're strong enough to hold on to anything. Now, Deku, he would have gone over to All Might and see if he's okay and healed him afterwards. Everyone would have just thought that, oh, Deku just healed one or two of All Might's ribs, but Deku really healed 5 to 6 of them. Well, he also did heal some of the burn marks on All Might. And I want to say the injury in parts of his jaw that he kinda messed up a bit. Along with his teeth really appreciating that. Now then, afterwards, this would somewhat get everyone talking. As before Deku can even really say anything, he decides to leave. Taro would watch as he does so, and Deku, he actually is getting a bit of information. After that happens, this is where, whenever he leaves, he would meet up with this female Ghost Rider once again. Taro would have actually asked him where he's going, and he would have just explained that he can feel her here, as he would be walking around. As soon as he gets to the entrance of UA, he would see a woman in a hoodie, as he asked her exactly what is she doing here. As she would just say, "You don't sound too excited, kid." Well, how else am I supposed to be excited? Usually whenever we meet, it involves flaming skulls. And somewhere weird. Well, don't really have much of that, but best I can say is here. As she would hand Deku a folder. Deku would just say, "What is this?" "Well, kid, I figured you could use it. This is the information I have. It is on the League of Villains. I've been a bit busy. And so have you, apparently." "Well, yeah. I kinda got stuck somewhere." "Oh, I know. How long have you been there, though?" "Too long." "Yeah, not fun." "I get it. But that third deal, exactly what was it? 'Cause I know I could feel it." It was not a good thing to feel. Now, as soon as she would have said that, Deku would just say that he was tasked with doing something. Fighting someone and he was supposed to kill them. But he was able to change the deal. And that person, turns out they were a stubborn bastard. So they would not have gone down easy, resulting in a fight to the death anyways. But it's different than that. Now this is gonna sound crazy, as the woman would just say that, "You're serious. This is where things get crazy? Not the hellfire, not the devil, making deals and us being, what is it, vessels for fallen angels?" Touche. Anyways, apparently I went to another reality, and fought a different version of myself with amazing power, who was basically a demon. Okay, kid. Well, I see why you think that's hard to believe. Well, Anyways, as the woman would just stand up straight, stopping, not leaning against the wall anymore, saying that that's all the information she has. Hand it over to Principal Nezu. And, well, let him take care of it. Also, as she would turn away from him, saying that All Might, he is destined to fight against a villain. Whenever that time comes, things are going to get messy. So, you better be ready. There is going to be a war coming. Whichever side has the rider will win. So, you better hope that there isn't anything wrong with time. Or at least just make sure to keep an eye on him. Now then, Deku would just be wondering, keep an eye on him? Mephisto, what are you up to? Now then, Toru, she would just walk up, asking exactly what was going on. As Deku would say that that was weird. He kinda had to meet with her. Really? Right here? Yeah. Apparently, she is human. Did you see her face? No, I didn't. But, well, she did hand me this. Now then. Deku, he would just go on saying that whatever this is, it's gotta be pretty important. As he would walk in the UA. Going straight for Mr. Nez's office and handing this to him. Saying that someone just gave this to him. He didn't see their face, he didn't get their name, but, well, they said that it was important. As Nezu would open this, being in shock. This is a folder of different places, different, well, areas, and something that will happen, along with all for one's exact location, and what can be best described as a map that has a red circle all over it, or red circles. This is something Nezu didn't expect or even anticipate. Someone just handing them the location. No. He would just say that that is very good work. Thank you, Midoriya. Now, I have a question. Yes, Mr. Nezu? This whole event with Toru, do you know exactly how she was brought back? Well, not really. I just kinda left for minutes. I couldn't think. I had to clear my head. Really? Are you sure you didn't have something to do with it? No, sir. Ah, well, I don't have any evidence to hold you, so, well, I will have to excuse you. Now, please go back to class now. Yes, sir. As Deku would walk out. Now then. That is going to be where I leave this part off of, guys. I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.